Okay, we're live. I
We
guess
are
so.
live.
I guess, guys, welcome to Box to Box Football. And I don't know, like, what do I sound like? I'm aroused. Like this is. It sounds like some. It's a weird. Like when you walk in these sex shows and you're like, oh, guys, how are you doing? Yeah. Okay, let's get into it right now. What's up? Welcome to Box Football, and we're here with a Premier League reaction to the final day. And usually we'll do video on it, but I think the best coming live and just seeing how everyone's doing, seeing how everyone's reacting to it. A crazy 10 games. Let me just actually get up all the games here, but let's talk about the biggest point of the whole day, the most important thing, because everything else has just been finished before even the relegation battle. The title's decided. The one thing that wasn't decided was the top four race, and
Right.
Leicester City do it again in their hands once again. Champions League football, and they bottle it, and not just bottle it where like it's like, oh, they were bad throughout the whole game. They were in
Right.
control for 80 something, around 70 minutes, and then a flick of a switch, a bad error, and then everything just goes from bad to worse from them. Chelsea got to count their lucky stars, but Jack, like, what an interesting final day, especially for the top four.
It really was, and I think that obviously we can have our own personal grievances and frustrations about maybe how sometimes the end of the season can be a bit of a damp squib sometimes, because we may know who's being relegated, we may know the top four, we may know who's going to win the title, and sometimes I feel like the last day leaves a little something to be desired. Figuring out top four or Europa League or Conference League or whatever, it's not ideal. But yeah, I feel for Leicester. But I've got to say that I think that's where we've been this season. I think there's been one kind of team that I would award an A plus grade, and that's Man City. And then, I think the chasing pack, I don't know if I'd give any of them kind of anything higher than like a B or B plus. And I think that was kind of made clear in this final day. Liverpool did what they needed to do against a team that they were much better than. And yeah, okay, Leicester, tried their hearts out against, a Tottenham side who haven't really been at it, and Chelsea lost to kind of a good fighting Villa team. The red card from Azpilicueta, I didn't love that. I don't know. It just seemed a bit weird for me. That's all.
We got our dear friend Sammy's in the house. What does Sammy have to say? It's
Sammy.
19 years, and Perez still hasn't won back-to-back leagues as president, world president he is. Well, he did win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, Sammy. I do understand, like, you can say, oh, Perez, right, you like him or you don't, but unfortunately, we cannot lie that he has been successful at Real Madrid. 3
Right.
Champions Leagues in a row, to me, in modern day football, is just the maddest thing you can ever do, and no team has ever did it. You guys were the only team to go back-to-back in the Champions League, and what would you rather, going back, winning 3 times in La Liga or going 3 times in the Champions League? I'm pretty sure everyone's picking the Champions League. But
also, like, Sammy, as much as I respect the kind of energy that you put towards hating Florentino Perez, but like, you got to understand that you're a fan for a pretty privileged club. You're in a lot of big storylines. You get the best players. You get a lot of the big trophies. Like, okay, the guy might be a bit scummy and whatnot, but yeah, the team has great success, and he's part of that, I'm afraid.
The first time this season, Real Madrid haven't won a title since 2010. So you guys have been spoiled for God knows how long. So
right.
I don't think it's none to be sad about. But again, just going back to Leicester,
yeah,
where do Leicester go from here? Because now this is 2 years in a row now where you're in prime position. I think last year was even worse on what happened, because they were second and they were in prime position. They were like 15 points clear in the Champions League race, and they came out bottled it. But now this season,
I tweeted about this, and I had a little bit of interaction with Jed about it. I've always personally been of the opinion that obviously the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup doesn't really matter, and I know that you largely disagree. But I tried to make the point on Twitter about how I feel like context is really, really important. So for a team like Leicester, yeah, of course, you can say it's their first FA Cup, and that's fine. And I know it's not a choice between one or the other. Obviously, they're trying to do both. But for me, if you make it a one or the other, where Leicester are as a team, I think you want that stability and that platform to go from to try and better the team and be better.
Sammy, just 1 second, Sammy. I think we're all good for Leicester because we were all rooting for them.
Yes,
but Jack, go ahead. Sorry.
Of course, we were all rooting for Leicester. Like, let's be clear. But I think I look at the fact that, I remember reading the tweet when Brendan Rodgers took over. Right, they were 12th. Okay, and since then, obviously, look at what he's kind of come on to achieve and what he's done. The FA Cup, victory, and how the team are playing, and he's brought new players in. Even, like I said to you, James, if you think about the list of names of players that they've lost over the last however many years, like, they really haven't kind of missed a beat on all that. And in terms of optimism for the future, I know, obviously, I'm sure you're rooting for the guy more than most. Kelechi Iheanacho, killing it. And I think that, you've got a guy there primed to take over that kind of main goal-scoring role from Jamie Vardy, and then, a couple of smart acquisitions, refresh the squad a little bit here and there, try and fend off people taking away like a James Maddison or a Wilfred Ndidi, but the team will be there or thereabouts again next season. But I think the extra funding, the extra exposure and all that, of finishing top four would, it's a huge loss for them. And it's why I always think, depending on the context, you're always going to want to finish top four as opposed to winning the FA Cup.
You're definitely a chairman, Justin. I mean, you're not a football fan. You're all about the money. If you want to pick corporate getting top four for corporate reasons over winning trophies come first.
But James, the point is that if you make top four, you then set yourself up for a position in future to win FA Cups and Premier League.
That's not really true. Because anything can happen in football. Liverpool in 2010. Well, Liverpool after getting top four and finishing second, the season after that, they ended up getting knocked out in the Champions League group stages, and then in his 2-3 years out of the top four before Jurgen Klopp came again. It doesn't automatically put you in that realm of you're actually going to be successful in the Champions League. It's just the fact that I feel like Arsene Wenger and the people who run the finances of football have made it so precious that you must get Champions League football from the point of view of money reasons. Right.
But I've just kind of looked in the past 15, 20 years or so, apart from a Wigan or a Portsmouth, all the teams that win this are also teams who make top four positions, which therefore gives them the money to have better squads, to be more competitive, and then to win more. I think that as a step in a process, finishing top four and that financial, side of things, I think it just means that you'll have better chances at future FA Cups. Whereas now they could win the FA Cup, but there might be some players who have to take a little less money or won't earn as much money because they're not in the Champions League.
I'm just a point of view of the player side of it. You're going to look back in your career. Are you really going to tell your kids about all the times you got top four, or are you going to show them all the shiny medals you have from going to Wembley or going to these places and winning trophies?
But James,
everything else.
You're thinking very short term. I'm thinking more long term. So my point is, if you make top four this year, and it means that you can make certain investments in the squad for future years, you could then be more competitive team in the future. Maybe instead of an FA Cup and then nothing else, it can be a couple FA Cups, a Carabao Cup, another Premier League title.
But just getting one Champions League spot doesn't automatically get you there.
No, you're absolutely right. But I think unfortunately, the data is there for all to see. James, the relationship between money and football is undeniable.
But let's just get back to Leicester quickly. Generally, where do they go from here? Because that's 2 years they bottled it now. Now, psychologically, with all the teams getting stronger, because Chelsea are going to get stronger next year, Liverpool are going to get stronger next year, Man City are going to get stronger next year, Man United are going to get stronger next year. Where does that really put them now? And also, you're looking like a manager at Brendan Rodgers now. I'm a big fan of Brendan Rodgers, but that's 2 times he's failed to put his team in that position. Does he look at it maybe think that, have I taken this team as far as I possibly can?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's still development to do with this team, and then there's some replacement players I think who can come in and compete with the other players to be better. I think I mentioned this to you already. I think the biggest kind of change for them is going to be Kelechi Iheanacho needs to be the starting number 9 on a weekly basis. Now Jamie Vardy may still be there, but the main kind of breadwinner for that team needs to be Kelechi Iheanacho, and you need to get the relationship with Maddison, have Ndidi sitting behind them, maybe bring a couple wingers in. We've seen Harvey Barnes have some success. I know, somebody like a Cengiz Under came in, and obviously, I wanted to see more of him, but I think they could do with a winger, that long-term replacement for Mahrez. Sammy, is Leicester a top 4 team on paper though? I don't think so. To me, this is Tottenham 2.0. These are the overachievers of our time right now. I think you look at what the other teams around them have to play with. Leicester are certainly, I think you'd put them in the category of overachieving. I think 5th this year is an overachievement from Leicester. Absolutely.
I mean, like, bear in mind, we base football on like mirror, and on paper, we'll take a lot of teams like Aston Villa, even teams like who's on a team that's doing well, Leeds, and you kind of put them in that and you put them in a lower echelon. Football is based on merit, and yes, Leicester are not the greatest team, but you look at their record against big teams like this year, it's definitely up there. They did enough in certain areas to get top 4, but when it mattered the most, unfortunately, they just weren't good enough. And that's that's disappointing. But I just want to move on quickly to Chelsea.
Yeah,
just state this right now. So Chelsea get top 4. Fortunately, very, very fortunately,
right.
They have lost what? 3 of their last 5 or 4 matches going into the Champions League final. Where does this put this Chelsea against a disturbingly scary Man City team who took apart Leicester differently?
Right.
Everton today.
Right.
Where does this leave Chelsea?
Hey, I think the way I look at it is Chelsea are one of these teams, right, where they should never win the big things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we've ever seen a season where you would say that Chelsea have just played the best football and then won. Like, their Champions League success, that wasn't like a glamorous, fun,
Jack, this is just a weird thing right now, but Ronaldo's on the bench for Juventus today. But anyway, let's just leave that. But okay. Carry on.
But I think the whole thing with Chelsea is usually it's when the chips are down to this extent that they pull off this kind of an upset, and that's why I'm not going to rule them out for the Champions League. Obviously my brain, I think I'm going to go for Man City, but you can easily see a Chelsea side frustrating a team, getting a lucky breakaway goal, and then Chelsea pretending like they're the best thing since sliced bread. Gary Garner's Stacker is, what's up, man?
What's up, Gary?
But yeah, no, it is worrying, James. It absolutely is. I think, like, did you see on Instagram? I think Tammy Abraham's girlfriend kicked off. I think as well. I wouldn't get rid of him. I would have given him way more time as part of the team. They're going to supposedly go in big on Declan Rice. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with the defense. I know it's easy to say this every single summer, but it seems like a huge summer for Chelsea.
It is a huge summer, but going on to what happened today and what's going to go on for the Champions League final. If I'm Chelsea, if I'm Thomas Tuchel, if I'm Chelsea fans, I'm extremely worried because for some reason they went from being untouchable to now being touchable. It's not like being touchable where they're embarrassing. It's just that offensively, it's such an issue now that's to me it's affecting their defensive play. When you can't score goals in certain areas, Timo Werner, I'm sorry, every time he scores a goal, there's something up with it. Handball, offside. I can't tell you, but there's something going on with it. And when he gets played through and he does hit the target, it's saved. We're still waiting for,
I remember one of our first, you, me, and Timmy, one of our first ever. Yes, Sammy, it could. I'm excited for that. It's gonna be mad. But I remember, James, one of our first conversations that you and I ever had, talking about how hard work is so respected in the UK. Even if you're not good, they always respect a hard worker over somebody who actually has talent. I feel like Timo Werner's like slowly falling into that category because he's working hard, and you see him, closing people down, picking up pressures, going back to defend. But it's like, dude, you're a striker. We need you to score.
Oh, listen. But also, if I'm Chelsea, I'm also shitting bricks from the point of view of N'Golo Kante could miss the final, and that to me is a huge blow for them. Coming into it. It's not the ideal preparation for the final, but the final you never know. Just a quick mention from Gary.
Yeah. I left a comment on your channel a few weeks back saying it looks like Inter, Sporting, Atletico, Lille all to win in their respective leagues. You replied, "We don't think that will happen." I thought that was going to happen. I
felt okay. One of them was guaranteed from the point of view of Inter and Sporting. Atletico, I wasn't sure about them, but I'm happy that they pulled it off yesterday. Congratulations to them. Lille, it would be amazing to see them pull off today. And I genuinely think that they will. Fingers crossed, Gary. My only thing is that when it gets to these crunch times, you see people, especially when you're not used to it, like a Leicester City, you see people twitch. Like even Atletico Madrid, them last 2 games, they went a goal behind in each game, and it wasn't convincing, but they found the way. And hopefully Lille today can find a way so we can have a clean sweep. The only thing we have to do now is just get Bayern off their perch, because they're just like what? They could go 10 in a row. They might go 20 in a row. Like generally, they have a great chance of doing that. But quick look on other games. Man City win 5-0. Yep. Sergio Aguero comes on, scores 2 goals on his final game for Man City. Jack, what's your reaction to that?
Oh, brilliant! It's the perfect send off. Like people, I think I got a notification being like, oh, like Sergio Aguero on the bench, and it's like he's on the bench so that he can get a standing ovation when he comes on. Or he can get his respect when he comes on. We've got to be honest here. Yes, agreed. We need to stop that. I don't know how we're going to do it. But
unfortunately, we can't do it. We have to talk to the rest of the 17 Bundesliga teams.
But James, the point is with Aguero, if you talk about a fairy tale career, I mean, what's it? It's been a decade at Man City now, right? 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been there 10 years. Obviously, he's got the greatest moment in the history of the Premier League under his belt. He broke the record, I think, today of most goals for one club. That was Wayne Rooney's record at Man United. I think he now has that as Man City. And he's going to go play with Leo Messi in Barcelona.
He probably does. Yeah, to be fair, he probably does.
He does. I think he broke that today, and yeah, it's been a fantastic career. I still maintain with Aguero a little bit of burnout. I think, I think that he played a lot of football for a very young age at a very high level, and I think that no matter who you are, unless you're just a physical machine, that's going to wear on you eventually, and I think that's why we're seeing that with Aguero.
Also a big one. Liverpool, after having a disastrous season, somehow find a way to clinch top 4 on the final day. How much of a big achievement is this for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp?
Dude, I think Jurgen Klopp might consider this his biggest achievement. And I know you might go, what? He's won a Champions League and he's done this and he's done this. It's in the same way that, remember when Mourinho...
Agree. Only if he can stay fit.
I think Mourinho mentioned Man United finishing second was his greatest achievement of his career, and that man's won Champions Leagues and that kind of thing too. I just wonder if potentially Jurgen Klopp may feel that way with the amount of injuries, with the front 3 not firing as they usually would have done. Central midfielders having to play centre back and then having kind of backup central midfielders playing in the team. I think Klopp will look back on this year. His frustrations, how he's had to deal with the British media who have always loved him. I think this is a huge achievement for Liverpool. But yet again, the main thing I'm going to come back to, I know I'm talking a lot here. The main thing I'm always going to come back to, I don't think it's because any of these teams have been particularly good. Even Manchester United, I don't think they've been particularly good. Undefeated away from home, great. But fans are going to come back soon. I don't know how long that's going to stay for. So for me, it's been one team who's been great, and then a bunch of teams who've been kind of meh.
Liverpool, to me, will look at this season as a chance missed. We both spoke about at the start of the season, Liverpool were going to repeat again, go back to back, and unfortunately, things happen. Even the front 3 happened. The injuries happened, and they are where they are. But for them to get Champions League. If you would have told Jurgen Klopp this, with 10 games left, generally he would have laughed at you. I think it was after the Leeds game. Do you remember the Leeds game, after them dropping points against them? People thought, "Oh, I'm not sure they have a chance now." And then for them to pull this out, the rabbit out the hat, big shout out to them. And even they got the fans back, and next season with fans back in the stadium, Anfield rocking again, and even with Champions League football, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Sammy just put out a little bit there. Okay, we got the Spurs versus Marino. Listen, it's a weird one. That is the one competition I genuinely didn't want to be in. So I didn't mind Europa League. I'm not going into this type of competition. But
so James, to your knowledge, so if you win the Conference League, do you then automatically get in the Europa League? Is that how it
so. I think so, and it's a weird one because who wants to vie to get into the Europa League? Europa League is it's a weird one. But quick thing, you can look at my team, Arsenal. Won 2-0, Pepe 2 goals. Finished the season, the last 3 games, with like 5 goals. He's had an all right season, but I don't know. Should we be excited, Jack, as Arsenal fans, seeing Pepe do this?
Oh, for Pepe? Sure. Yeah, I think I would challenge any young person. Hey, there you go. Nice, Gary. I hope you put some money on it, dude. I think if you challenge any young person to cost all this money, have all this pressure, and do all this kind of stuff, and to then just expect it immediately, it very, very rarely works out that way, I think. I think Pepe's just needed a bit of time. And I think that, to be honest, he's probably needed to prove to other people and to himself that he deserves to be there. And I do think, we're talking about this guy potentially as the greatest attacking threat Arsenal have right now. I think current form would say, he's definitely going to be better than a Lacazette, Aubameyang, even a Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, someone like that. But it's going to be a lot of turnover at Arsenal, James. So he's going to have some different teammates.
There's going to be huge turnover next year. I think it's nice to see Pepe do well come to the end of the season. It's not bad. I'm happy with it. But the fact of the matter is that when we needed you the most,
it's garbage
in
time.
Game, like in games against Villarreal. To be fair, he was decent. He actually scored, but we needed a goal against Villarreal, get us goals. Games where could have pushed us to get a Europa League or a Champions League spot. He wasn't there. We're performing with 5 meaningless games left. Arsenal won all of them. It makes no sense, and it just shows you with team when there's no pressure on, everything's great for them. But when there is pressure, they balled it, and that's what it's been this whole season with them. But hopefully, Pepe can bring this form into next season. We can see the Pepe that we paid for, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Couple, James. I hate to kind of go back to the well again with some of my bad takes, but I do maintain I think there is a semblance of something that Arteta is trying to get in there. I just don't know if he's had the players to fully implement it, and I think that if you can just get a couple of the right pieces, all you need is 1 or 2 players that work out really well in terms of additions, and you're a completely different team. Just quickly, because I know that we've kind of not got too much time left on this live here. Oh, dude, Milan, not even close. I want to see Juve just crash and burn. I don't care about Juve.
Listen, I want Juve to get it. I want Ronaldo in the Champions League, Jack. We can't have a Champions League without Mr. Champions League.
No, but I want Milan to get it, so Ronaldo has to leave. That's what I want. I want the drama. I want all that.
I feel like if Ronaldo leaves, I just want him to go back to Sporting or like something like that, kind of end his career on a high.
Win the Champions League with Sporting.
That would be now. Listen, that's another get me into the goal conversation, which I don't want to have them anymore.
Just because we don't have too much time left, I do just want to put some credit, some respect, and make some remarks on Nuno Espirito Santo, who obviously is leaving Wolves after 4 years. Making 7th with Wolverhampton Wanderers when you took them from the Championship. Wolverhampton Wanderers played in Europe, guys. Madrid and that dude. Can I just tell you, Sammy? I'm not You're not crazy there. You're not crazy. Seriously, that would fit Ronaldo's lifestyle, and all he has to do is show up in the big Champions League games or the big Liga 1 games. You're not crazy there. But to kind of go back to Nuno Espirito Santo, it's for me. I don't pretend to know the history of all the Wolves managers or anything, but is this this might be one of the best, if not the best, manager in Wolves history. The players he's managed to attract and bring into the club and develop and bring on, a lot of credit to him. He's going to be sorely missed, and I'm interested to see where he goes.
I'm going to give a few shout outs here. First one is to I'm going to start with David Moyes and what he's done with his West Ham team. Last year they had a kind of a mini great escape, but this season they were in contention to get in in the top 4, and for them to finish sixth in the Premier League, and how many points off the top 4? 2 points up, off Chelsea. Absolute remarkable. Like getting players like Souček playing. You got Jesse Lingard back on form, Buffal, Antonio. He's done an amazing job. And if you're looking for manager of the year, I know Pep is obviously the outstanding candidate, but you can also say David Moyes is a big one. You know what he's been able to do there. But also it could be a problem next year because we're going to expect a lot from West Ham and they could crash and burn. But congratulations to them this year. Another one who I want to mention, I think a huge one, Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa for coming into the Premier League this year. They end up finishing 9th in the Premier League, top half of the table, and they've just been a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Every game that I watch, I've never watched the Leeds game and felt raw. Leeds weren't competitive today, even when they got blown away. Jack, even let's say the Man United game where they lost 5-2. They had chances to even win that game. Every game they were entertaining this year. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but what they bring to the Premier League is so great. And Bielsa, I think if you're Tottenham right there, you're looking, if we can somehow nip him, and we may have a chance. But I mean, he's just been incredible with Leeds this year.
He had if it's not a classic big Premier League game, the game I'm going to choose to watch is the Leeds game. Mm-hmm. Because if they're playing a team that they're better than, they're going to just go after it and try and win. And if they're playing a team that they're worse than, they're going to go after it and try and win. There is no kind of low block, we're going to just defend and not have possession type thing going on with Bielsa. And James, I totally agree with you, mate. I think that this is the big, like I say, it's such a cliche and it's so easy to say. This is the biggest summer for Daniel Levy in terms of his entire career at Tottenham. It is. I don't know how you can say that not sacking Mourinho, trying to find a replacement and trying to deal with the Harry Kane situation isn't a huge, huge deal. You're on mute, mate.
Hopefully that they don't get a good manager. But I just want to ask you just a quick question. Jack, this season, who's been the biggest disappointment this season for you?
So the name that immediately comes to my mind is Liverpool.
I'm talking about team.
But that's because of injuries. That's not really their fault. So it's disappointing from a standpoint that, I've been disappointed I haven't got to watch the Liverpool that I kind of, know and love from seasons past. So that's been disappointing. But in terms of disappointment, because I just, it's been their fault and they just haven't been up to scratch. Tottenham. I know it's a shame, but I don't think you can look at the offensive output that Son and Kane have provided, the impact of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, the talent of somebody like Tanguy and Ndombele. They really invested in that squad. You remember from the summer, they brought in, Doherty had just come off a great season with Wolves and things were looking up. So the fact that Tottenham couldn't just control a game or defend well enough to make top 4, or at least kind of really, really properly challenge for top 4 come the last couple of days of the games of the season, with a manager like Jose Mourinho, with the Golden Boot winner, with Son, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Spurs have been a disappointment. I hate to say it. And I like Spurs.
Mine is, everyone would think I'm going to say Arsenal. But no, my biggest disappointment this year is Everton. They were tipped, in my eyes, to finish in the top 4, with 15 games left. And you look at the game that they dropped points in. Sheffield United at home, Aston Villa at home. They're dropping like points to mid-table teams. And
Right.
I look at them in the final day. I know it's Man City, but losing 5-0 to them, they've invested so heavily on players like Joe Allen or
Alan from yeah.
Alan. You got James Rodriguez, Decore, and especially from the start of the season, I think they won the first 4 games with scoring goals, and I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be a problem. And then they got Carlo there. For them to finish 10th
is really 10th
is horrendous.
James, I didn't even know they finished 10th. I thought they were 8th or 9th. I did not know. That's actually you know what, actually I think I'm going to agree with you. I'd probably put Tottenham maybe to 2nd.
Because when you look at the investment, they invested not to finish in the top 6. They invested to finish in the top 4 and challenge them. And
it's talented players, mate. It's really talented players.
Jack, like how many of these players would get into most teams? James Rodriguez is getting into most teams in the Premier League. Alan's getting into most teams. The core is a fantastic.
Yep.
Like they a serious team.
Luca Dino was he the 2nd best left back this year? Maybe.
Probably, yeah. And me just looking at them, I feel like it's a huge debt now because let's say if Carlo can't take them over the line, who will?
Right.
Because generally, where do they go after that? And especially in a horrible season that Liverpool have had. I remember after the game, when they beat Liverpool at home at Anfield, I'm thinking, surely they're going to finish above Liverpool. Liverpool were going on a bad pace. For them to finish mid-table, I just think it's like Carlo Ancelotti is one of my favorite managers of all time. But
yeah, same.
Yeah.
So James, I'm probably going to do a video on this. I want to try and do it with you. I don't know if we'll do it tonight or maybe over the next couple of days, but I do want to do a way too early predictions for next season. As of right now, who have you got winning the league next year?
Oh, I hate when people do this stuff. I generally like we just finished. You want to of course you're always going to pick the team who's going to Man City are head and shoulders above everyone. But
James, Van Dijk will be back.
Oh yeah, true. But let's see how Liverpool is. But Man City just lift the trophy up. At least give me a whole summer to kind of get myself ready. You can't just ask me to pick it now because if I'm picking on what I see right now, it generally just stays the way it is. But let's just see. Let's generally let's generally just see. In my opinion, this has been a disappointing Premier League season. I feel like I look at things like the relegation battle, not as entertaining as years gone by. Yeah.
What I would personally like, and I know that you don't agree with this because you hate the kind of US influence coming in, but you know what? My mum's from California. I've got an American passport. It's in my blood.
Jack. We're not having this American stuff again.
Here's what I'm saying. This is what I would prefer because I think it guarantees excitement for the end of every single season, right? I think you have the Premier League and you have a title for the Premier League. But then I think there needs to be something in play, whether it be the top 4, top 6, top 8 teams or whatever. And there needs to be some sort of playoff format of some description to then have kind of this final match. Maybe if that replaces the Carabao Cup, I think that would be a really nice alternative to the Carabao Cup, for example.
Why would you change something that that doesn't need fixing? I don't think the Premier League or anything needs fixing as much, we've had so many. I think this has just been a bad year, as in, overall football. I look at it from the point of view. Forget about the format; it's the team. Man United offensively, this is the worst they've ever been. Boring. Arsenal, boring. Chelsea, they can't hit a lick. Tottenham, you can take Son out of it, they can't hit a lick. Liverpool, they've ran out of steam completely. What other teams? Everton, just poor. All the teams that we expect to do well, they haven't lived up to expectation. And that's not down to a format. That's just down to them. They need to fix this problem.
And that's fine. But I would say that I don't think it's a Premier League problem because I'm looking at 2 European finals where out of the 4 teams, 3 of them are English teams. You know what I mean? So I'm not so sure it's a Premier League problem.
But also, football is football. Let's say, for instance, Lewandowski didn't get injured. Bayern probably would have been in the final. Let's be honest.
They'd have. It changed my prediction. Him missing, I'll tell you that.
Again, I feel like there's certain things that play.
He got the record, by the way. Shout out to
Oh yeah, Lewandowski, 41 goals. In 30? He played like 30 games. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid as well, champions. Shout out to them.
To be fair, guys, I think we might have to come out with a podcast.
Yes.
Probably do a podcast tomorrow, and we'll kind of wrap everything up. We just wanted to give a quick reaction to the Premier League stuff. We'll give a European roundup tomorrow. Let's just see what happens today. The craziness and madness is gonna happen today, guys. We're gonna leave you right now, but please stay tuned. We had a video out with Harry Kane. Please go check that out. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Tell all your friends, mums, auntie, uncles, whoever whoever you know. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. We got some big things coming, Euro stuff, also, guys. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.